Welcome to Video Quick Tips, the show that brings you tips and techniques to help you produce better video programs. I'm your host, Bill Mecca. In this episode, we're going to talk about inexpensive lighting once again, because as you know, everything we see is a reflection of light, so you need light. Some people have asked me what I do for lighting in this small space. Well, I have a suspended ceiling here, and what I'm using are clamp lights that you can get down at your local big box hardware store. Cost between $6 and $9, depending upon the size. And I put a compact fluorescent bulb in there. This is a 23 watt bulb, throws about 100 watts of light. Gets a nice reflection off the dish here, which is called a reflector because it reflects. Gives you a nice soft light. I'm only using two lights here. I have the one on me and one behind me hooked onto a cabinet on the wall. That is actually a smaller reflector, more narrow. It has a compact fluorescent in there, but I'm actually using one that has the compact fluorescent inside a floodlight casing so I don't get the reflection off the dishes. No real reason for that. I just happen to have that light, so that's the one I'm using. Speaking of lighting, the reason I wasn't here for the last regularly scheduled episode of Video Quick Tips is I was in San Francisco shooting some interviews for a documentary I'm working on, and we borrowed some LED panels out there to use as lights. They were very cool temperature-wise, and you can also adjust the color temperature of the lights by using a gain switch. You could take it from a very bright white to a more incandescent amber color. We did run into some problems with one of the lights as it had a mind of its own and it started changing intensity in the middle of the interviews. So we just ditched that one and just used the one light, got some fill light from the window, and we continued. And talking with the sales production manager at the CBS affiliate in San Francisco, we're talking about what was going on. And one of the things we discussed was how shadows are reality. So you don't necessarily have to use your traditional three-point lighting setup with your key, fill, and backlight. Be creative. If you want to create some rather interesting looks, play with the shadows, paint with light. And you can do it inexpensively. As always, we try to be inexpensive here on Video Quick Tips with some compact fluorescent bulbs and some inexpensive clamp lights. That's it for this episode. I'm your host, Bill Mecca. See you next time. Happy shooting.
The year is 1973. Historical events fill our television screens from Watergate to the Vietnam War. And from the Pascagoula Gulf Coast and all around the world, UFOs are being reported in ever-increasing numbers. Join us as we explore UFO sightings in 1973.
Okay, now that I've actually turned the microphone on, you can hear me.